Thunder rumbling, rain hitting a windshield, distant howling wind. They say the road to nowhere always begins with a map drawn in blood. On the night of September 19th, 1983, a woman named Yuko Mizaki drove alone through the backroads of rural Japan. Her old, rusted car limped along a dirt trail swallowed by forest, headed toward a house that had been waiting for her. She didn't know it yet, but something in that house had been calling her since before she was even born. She was 7 months pregnant, alone, tired, and desperate to disappear. Her bruises hadn't fully healed. Her husband, the one she fled from, was a monster wearing a man's face. But what waited at the Nagori estate was something far worse. Engine stalls, lightning strikes, crows cawing violently in the trees. She looked up, and there it was, the house, rotten and forgotten, yet somehow still standing. Shutters hanging loose, roof half collapsed, front door wide open, like it had been expecting her. Creaking wood, wind whistles through hollow halls. Yuko stepped inside. Dust exploded with every footstep. The walls were lined with strange sculptures, twisted, hollow-eyed faces locked in expressions of eternal pain. But it wasn't the sculptures that made her stomach turn. It was the feeling, like something behind the walls was watching her, breathing with her, mimicking her heartbeat. She climbed the stairs slowly, pregnant belly heavy, exhausted. She whispered to herself, "One night, just one night, then I'll leave." But the house knew better. No one ever leaves. Narrator, slowing. She found the master bedroom untouched for decades. On the vanity, a cracked photo frame. Inside, a picture of a man with black eyes and a hollow smile. Ichiro Nagori, her great-uncle, a sculptor declared insane in 1969. They say he vanished while creating his final masterpiece. Yuko turned the frame over, etched in faded ink. To give fear a face is to give it life. She set the photo down and found a leather journal beneath the mirror, pages flipping, pen scratching on parchment. In it, Ichiro's final thoughts, Madam broken and terrified. He wrote, "The entity asked to be sculpted. I gave it wings. I gave it flesh. And now, it wants a voice." Another page was glued shut, with something red and dry. Yuko stopped reading. She felt something cold in the air, and for the first time since arriving, she heard it. Faint whispering behind the walls, female voice humming softly. A low whisper, not words, not music, just breath, just presence. The house was alive, and something was moving beneath the floorboards. Yuko tried to sleep that night, but the dreams didn't let her. She saw a woman's face, stretched too wide, eyes too big, smile too long. She sat atop a pile of screaming bodies, her voice soft, her gaze unblinking. "Give me the child. Let me be born." Yuko awoke in a cold sweat. The whisper from her dream was now coming from inside the mirror, dark and quiet. In the morning, Yuko wandered the house again and found a locked basement door, rusty, chained, sealed with a symbol she didn't recognize. On the wall beside it, someone had written in charcoal, "She waits below. Feed her, or she'll come through." The moment she touched the handle, the house shook, low rumble, light bulbs popping, distant scream. She ran back upstairs, but the master bedroom was no longer where she left it. The halls had changed. The house was shifting. It was no longer shelter. It was a trap. Narrator, slower, dramatic pause. In the attic, she found a single statue. Unlike the others, this one was unfinished. It looked like a woman with bird legs, long arms, no pupils, and a mouth carved so wide it nearly split her face in half. On its pedestal was a single word carved in stone, MOMO. And that night, Momo smiled in her dreams again. Only this time, Yuko didn't wake up screaming. She woke up bleeding. Sound, heartbeat rising, blood dripping. She looked down, her belly, her baby. Something was wrong.
Faint crying, echoing heartbeat.
A match strikes in the dark. Yuko awoke on the wooden floor, hands trembling. Her dress soaked in blood. She thought she had lost the baby, but then the kicking returned. Harder than ever. It wasn't pain. It was violence. Like something inside her was clawing to get out. Mirror, cracking slowly. Distant child laughter echoing. She stumbled into the bathroom, and as she washed the blood from her thighs, she looked into the mirror and saw herself smile. Except, she wasn't smiling. The reflection was, smiling with a grin too wide, a neck too long, eyes black and blinking, distant whisper, "Let me out." The mirror shattered, and Yuko collapsed, screaming. Later that night, she found Ichiro's journal again. She flipped to the glued page and tore it open. Behind it, a drawing, a face, twisted, stretched, disturbing. Half woman, half nightmare. The caption, "The God of the Eye, once seen, it lives in you." She read on. "It came to me in dreams. It asked for limbs. I carved them. It asked for skin. I molded it. It asked for life. I gave it my voice. Now, it wants to be born through blood." Wind howling violently outside, doors creaking, baby crying in reverse. The more she read, the more the house fed off her fear. The halls grew longer, shadows began moving on their own, and something behind the walls was crawling. She began finding notes, slipped under doors, written in handwriting that wasn't hers. Some were simple. "Don't feed her. She lies. Don't let her out." Others were warnings. "Every mirror is a mouth. Don't look too long." And one note was written in blood. "She wants the child. Kill it, or she will take you." Yuko was no longer sure what was real. She heard footsteps when no one walked. She saw shadows when no one stood. And one night, she heard the cry of a baby. From the basement, baby crying, metal chains rattling, basement door creaking open slowly. The basement door was unlocked, chains removed, as if inviting her in. She descended, step by step, into the dark. Down below, she found a stone altar, bones surrounding it, dozens of them, skulls of children and adults. Carved into the stone wall behind it, from fear she came, to fear she feeds. And in the corner, a statue. No, a body, wrapped in hair, eyes stitched shut, fingers impossibly long. It pulsed, like it was breathing. Yuko turned to flee, but something caught her wrist. Sudden grip, whispered voice, "Stay." Wind roaring, fire crackling, distant weeping. The sun never rose again on that house. Not that night, not ever. Yuko was gone, but her body remained. Empty, lifeless, eyes wide open in terror. Something else wore her skin now. Something that should not have been born. The cult called it a miracle. They bowed, wept, sang in languages older than time, and from the attic, Momo descended. But not as a whisper, not as a shadow. She was real, her head tilted, hair black as oil, eyes too wide, too black, too deep, her limbs unnaturally long, arms that bent backward, fingers like broken sticks, her smile unbroken from ear to ear. She didn't speak, she didn't need to. Her presence infected everything. The walls peeled, The air turned to frost, and the cultists began to bleed from their eyes with joy. Narrator, dark and slow tone. They led her through the forest to a village that no longer exists. That night, every window shattered, every mirror screamed. Momo walked through door after door, and where she passed, no one was ever seen again. She started with children, drawn to their fear, drawn to the purity of their screams. They saw her in the mirrors, they saw her behind closet doors, and when they blinked, she was there. The adults thought it was madness, mass hysteria, until they heard it too. The knocking, 3 knocks, always at 3:33 a.m. Narrator whispering. The rule of Momo began. The whispers spread. Don't answer if no one speaks. Don't look in the mirror after midnight. If you hear the knock, it's already too late. Entire households vanished. No sign of struggle, just a mirror broken from the inside. And that smile, drawn in blood. Cities panicked. People covered their mirrors. Some blinded themselves. Others joined the cult. Momo's followers grew, not from belief, but from terror. Narrator, cold and steady. A new name appeared in online forums, in whispers, in chants. The eye that watches itself. They said she could see through reflections, screens, eyes. She was always watching, always listening. And the more fear she fed on, the more real she became. Screams blending into static, radio signals overlapping. Governments tried to cover it up. They failed. Because Momo didn't need headlines. She needed stories. Every tale told, every whisper passed, made her stronger. One final cultist wrote in their journal, "She was never meant to be a god, but we fed her like one. And now we pray she doesn't remember our names." But she did. And one by one, her creators vanished too, including Ichiro. He was found inside his own sculpture, folded, twisted, smiling, softer, tragic tone. And yet, there was one hope, one line in Ichiro's final journal entry, written before he was taken. The boy knows, the one she couldn't touch, the child with no fear. If he finds her heart, he can end her. The boy's name was Alex, and his story begins next. Wind blowing across ruins, soft heartbeat, a child's breath. Alex was only 12, but he had never known fear, not in the way others did. He didn't flinch at shadows, didn't cry at nightmares, didn't believe in monsters, until the day his little sister vanished. She was taken from her room. Only the mirror remained, and the word Momo scratched into it. Alex didn't scream. He didn't run. He made a choice. To find her. To end it. Narrator, determined tone. Alex dug through his father's old journals, found references to the cult of the eye, found Ichiro's name, and one final note. The house still stands. She returns there to feed, break the mirror, burn the heart. Alex packed a bag, a flashlight, a mirror of his own, a hammer, and a lighter. He returned to the forest, to the house no one dared speak of anymore. It had changed, twisted, larger than it should have been. Windows were mouths, doors, eyelids, and at the center, her heart. Narrator, intense tone. He stepped inside. The house breathed. It watched. Reflections warped. Walls whispered his name. Alex, he has no fear. Break him. He ignored it. Focused. Searched. Mirrors covered every room, each one showing Momo's face, grinning, twitching, hungry. She couldn't touch him. Not yet, because he wasn't afraid. Then he reached the basement, where her altar still stood. But now, it beat like a heart. A massive shard of black glass hovered in the center, the final mirror, the place she was born, and where she could be ended. Narrator, urgent tone. Momo appeared, not as a whisper, not as a vision. She stepped from the shadows, full, real, 7 feet tall, limb twisted, face stretched, eyes bottomless. She spoke. "You don't fear me. That makes you interesting." Alex raised the mirror he brought, held it in front of her. She flinched, screamed, her own reflection twisted into rage. "What are you?" "I'm the one who says no," Alex replied, and he threw the mirror at her. It shattered, and she shrieked. Alex struck the final mirror with his hammer, once, twice, and on the third hit, it cracked. Blood poured from it, black and steaming. Momo fell to her knees. "You can't kill me," she hissed. "I'm not," he said. "I'm unmaking you." He lit the match, dropped it into the altar. Fire erupted. The house screamed. So did the forest. So did every cultist, wherever they hid, because she was linked to all of them. Momo lunged, but Alex didn't move. He simply stared, and in his stare, there was no fear, only resolve. And for the first time, she hesitated. She burst into black smoke. The house collapsed. The screams ended, and silence took its place. When morning came, Alex was found in the ruins, unharmed, holding a shard of the mirror. Inside it, nothing, just his reflection, and the quiet peace of victory. The world never forgot the name Momo, but she was never seen again, because one boy refused to fear her, and fear was the only thing keeping her alive.